Hello and welcome to the CA Succession Aftershow. My name is Sharronda Williams and I will be your host for today's finale episode. And joining me for an in-depth discussion about Succession Season 3, Episode 9 is Will Mavity. Hi, Will.
Hi, I am still shook coming right out of that episode now.
I'm still shook too. We're gonna get through this together, okay? But I also want to welcome our other co-host, Rasha Goel. Hey, Rasha.
Hey guys, thank you. I am also shook. So I'm so glad we are all in this together tonight.
So before we jump into the conversation, there's a few things that you need to know about the show. The Succession After Show will contain spoilers for the current episode and previous episodes of Succession. Each week we'll be breaking down what happens on each episode. We're going to give a full recap, our favorite moments and favorite lines of dialogue. So if you miss an episode of Succession and you do not want to be spoiled, please come back to this video after you have watched the season finale and just come join this wonderful discussion as we are all still shook by everything that has happened. But also, too, please don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the great other content that we have on the channel as well. So now, without further delay, let's get into the season finale of Succession Season 3. This week's finale episode is titled All the Bells Say, and it is written by Jesse Armstrong and directed by Mark Malloy. The plot for this week's episode is as follows. Madden's vision for the GoJo Waystar relationship leads Shiv and Roman to manage the fallout as Logan weighs his options. So, we're going to get into this episode. We're going to break it down. We're going to take a moment. We're going to breathe. We're going to woo-sigh. And then basically, we're going to talk about all of the shocking things that have happened in this week's finale. So I want to get your first thoughts, your initial reaction, because we literally have all just watched the season finale. So Rasha, how are you feeling? Tell me.
Wow. I'm kind of at a loss of words right now. Also, wait, I want to acknowledge that we're live too. So we're going to have people with comments coming in. Giovanni Sanchez just sent a comment and saying, hooray to the underdogs. They've gone to the dark side. Great comment there, Giovanni. Yeah, so many different things happened in this episode. Of course, I'm going to work up to the end, but I enjoyed this episode. I will tell you guys that because I didn't expect it to go this way, but I can't even think of another way they could have ended it. So a lot of different things happening. I enjoyed seeing Kendall's breakdown. We know that he was getting to that tipping point and really the siblings coming together. I mean, it's the first time you really see them banding together between Roman, Shiv, and Kendall. So that was nice to see. Even the way they opened up the show, everybody's there because they care about Kendall, regardless of what's happened and all the family drama and the dynamics. At the end of the day, he is a family member, and knowing that he could have possibly died in the pool from the last episode, interesting to see how they were all there to make sure he was okay. I just felt like there was so much happening in this. I mean, I could keep rambling on and on, but we just saw so many different scenes. Of course, all the stuff going down with the company and it possibly being sold, and it is being sold and all that stuff. We'll get into that. The whole wedding. I'm still trying to remember everything because I literally just ended it at the same time you guys did and we jumped on here. But I thought a lot went down in this episode, but I really liked seeing the siblings kind of coming together and making their way to stand up against their father, which they have never done together collectively.
Will, how about you? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I echo your sentiments. I think I didn't love everything about this season as much as the previous two, but I thought this was just a banger of a season finale. And it was so satisfying after seeing Tom get shit on this season and see both Shiv and Roman act like such assholes to see Tom really just, totally turn the tables on them. And I thought the exchanges of having Roman finally, find the guts to stand up to Logan, even though it ended up being incredibly unwise, was great. I loved Jeremy Strong's performance in his big breakdown scene. I know we're all making fun of him online for that article about his method acting technique, but that was a great performance. I thought he really crushed his big scene. And yeah, I mean, this episode reminds you that these people suck, and they are mainly interested in each other for purely Machiavellian purposes, but to some degree, they do care about each other. Also, really liked Connor. Alan Ruck got a great scene, I thought, where he's reminding everyone he's the older sibling and he's always a joke and he's always kind of shoved out to the side. And I guess Connor's getting married now to someone wildly out of his league. So I really enjoyed those elements too.
Yeah, I think for me, I enjoyed the season finale. I mean, I think all of us can agree going into it with Succession, they know how to end the season with a bang. So I knew that we were going to get some craziness happening, but I didn't know that it was going to be this tense, like from the beginning of the episode all the way until the end. So I enjoyed the finale, but I still reserve my thoughts that I've had for the season as a whole. And I really hope that as we get into season 4, which has already been renewed, that we're going to keep the intensity that we have with this season finale and really carry that into the episodes. But, first, let's talk about the initial meeting that happens between Logan, Roman, and Madison. Rasha, what were your thoughts when Madison basically changes the game? They are feeling themselves. Their price has gone up to now him suggesting to Logan, hey, I want to buy you now. It's not about you buying me. We're going to buy you out. What were your thoughts on that?
I got to tell you, I'm not going to say I didn't expect that, because I didn't think, even from the get-go, like even when they were at the party, right? At Kendall's party, he had already expressed how he's over Logan. He doesn't think the company can do any better and they need to change ownership, and Logan's getting older. So I didn't really think he'd come back with anything else where he was going to compromise. I had a feeling that he was going to say it's either all or nothing. I think what did take me for a surprise in that conversation was, though, how Logan asked Roman to leave. Roman had initially set up this conversation. He had gone in to make this deal. He's been in touch and kind of running it the whole time. And it almost seemed like, okay, yeah, he was there. And then when Logan had to make a decision or really think about it, he just kind of told Roman to go back to the wedding and take care of stuff there. So obviously we know at that point that Logan's probably scheming something. I mean, I know that he's not a stupid man. I know he was coming up with something, but just the way that whole thing went down was really, really interesting. I mean, I enjoyed the scene. I definitely enjoyed the scene between the three of them.
Well, how about you?
I just want to respond. We got a question saying, did Tom let Logan know after Shiv spoke to him on the way to see Logan? Yeah, that was definitely my interpretation. Because, he's talking about make a deal with the devil to Greg, and we assume it's like, oh, we're going to align ourselves with the siblings. But no, it makes sense. He basically, she's like, who could have possibly told him? How did he know before we got here? And the only other person they told was Tom. And then as soon as she says that, Tom walks in. So I think it's pretty clear that Tom threw them under the bus, and he already had goodwill from Logan for agreeing to take the fall if someone had to go to jail. And so I'm sure he's got him and Greg a very nice deal out of this. But yeah, going back to that first scene, I really, really, I thought that was interesting. Basically, the fact that Logan has such an ego and such pride in his company, but basically agreed with everything negative that Matsson said about it was fascinating. And the fact that Matsson's like, the fact that you haven't punched me in the face tells me that you don't disagree with me. And then, Logan seeing that Roman's going to be a liability and doing his usual, like, no, I won't do it. But then immediately telling him to go, and you see like his banker or someone like ominously walk up behind him. Yeah, that was super interesting. And I think I don't think Logan even wavered in reality from the moment that Lucas pitched it to him. I think probably as soon as he said that was, yeah. Okay, yeah, D Money is, apparently we have confirmation, they say in the behind the scenes afterwards, that yes, Tom definitely was the one who talked. So.
Yeah, so in the behind the scenes, they do confirm that Tom was the snitch. As soon as Tom walked in and was like, hey, Shiv, I was like, oh my God, it was Tom who did it. And, but before we get into Tom's betrayal, or really Tom's like growth as a character and him just putting himself first, I do want to talk about the breakdown that Kendall has, because it is a touching scene, and let's kind of lead into that. They have this semi-intervention on Kendall, which I thought, to be honest, even though I know you guys say the siblings came together, the siblings are still trash in my opinion, because at the end of the day, like, your brothers have been breaking down the whole time and you didn't care, and you posted this letter, like, you've attacked him at every chance you've had, the lowest of the lows that you've seen him, you guys have still attacked him. And it's not until they feel as though that they lost the grace of their father that they actually want to join with their siblings. But I do want to bring up a point that you made, Will, in regards to what Connor had to say, because I had to check myself. I was like, wait a minute, like, did I miss something? Because I could have sworn that Connor was the oldest sibling. But he does have a really great performance. And I was happy that Connor reminded them, like, hey, who do you think raised you? Like, I didn't see my dad for 3 years, and he was absent for most of your life. As we recall through the season, when they're trying to get Roman to share a story with his father, he can only think of stories with his brother Connor. And so Connor is actually telling them, you guys need to respect me as a sibling, because honestly, none of us had actually seen Connor as someone who would be in the line of succession. So Rasha, tell me how you felt about that scene of Connor standing up for himself.
Yeah, I loved it. And this is why, because he's such well, I guess he's kind of the nicer person. Of course, yes, they are all garbage. And Gina saying the same thing, agreed, the siblings are garbage. And I just want to acknowledge Elle too, saying, I'm honestly having celebration ice cream that Kendall isn't dead right now. That's so funny. I actually thought he might have been dead too, Elle. So, but anyway, yeah, I thought it was the first time we really see him kind of getting his balls together and standing up for himself, because he's always so passive aggressive. And yeah, he's always there for the meetings, and he's kind of just thrown in, but he never really is valued or respected, I feel. And so he was done. He's sick of it. He wants them to know where he stands. He was hurt. He proposed. Nobody congratulated him. He's just kind of like the side character in all of their lives. And so I enjoyed seeing him kind of stand up for who he is and expressing how much he's kind of indirectly done for them, and how he has been there more than their own father has.
In the siblings' defense, in this one rare moment from me, technically, she didn't say yes at that point. So technically, he was not engaged. So I was like, sir, you can't really be upset.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so they could have congratulated him for proposing, maybe. You're right. She didn't say yes.
Okay, yeah. But in general, I do understand his frustrations. And this season has made me decide, he was such an annoying goober, and he still kind of is. But he is probably the least shitty of the actual siblings. This season has convinced me. He's an idiot and he's selfish, but he's not a dick. So I think there's something to be said for that.
We won't call Connor trash, okay? Because Connor raised the kids.
He's recycling.
We're going to put some respect on his name. But we do have to talk about Kendall, who at the end of last week's episode, we saw that, as he put it, he had one too many limoncellos. And, he looked to, I think it was confirmed that, like, he probably was trying to kill himself.
Oh, yeah.
But we see that he comes back. He looks like crap. He's clearly going through it. But later in the episode, he has this breakdown where he basically tells Shiv and Roman that I just don't feel like myself. I feel like my intentions have been good, but I don't feel connected to my kids. I just don't feel connected to life. And then he actually proceeds to tell Shiv and Roman what actually happened the night of Shiv's wedding, and that he is responsible for another kid's death. And Roman reacts the only way I would think that Roman would react. I was just like, you know what? Everyone, you got your own issues that you still need to deal with. So I'm going to let this slide for the moment. He's still trash too. But we do see that Shiv actually is trying to console and care for her brother. So, Will, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts about this confession that Kendall gives to his siblings and their reaction to it?
Okay, so I know, as you said, that Roman has his own issues, but I was honestly very furious at how Roman responded. I know Roman's response to everything is to make snarky jokes, but like literally, like your brother is melting down before your eyes and admitting he killed someone. And at first he's trying to genuinely make him feel better, I think, with like, I would have run. I mean, you actually tried to save him. That's more than I would have done. But like when he's like, yeah, I guess it explains why they took so long to get my drinks there and stuff. I was just like, oh my God. So like that infuriated me. And maybe that genuinely is the only way he knows to try and like comfort someone. But yeah, I really did like that. And I also think before in the episode 2, when they do their little intervention, I think both of those things weren't just motivated by anything Machiavellian. I think like to an extent, I think they all kind of viewed this as fun and games. And then Kendall did clearly try and kill himself. And so I did like that. Yeah, there was some genuine care. I also like that Logan did like one of the only warm things we've ever seen when he's like reading a book to Kendall's kids at the beginning. I thought that was, even though he doesn't like kids' books, I thought that was pretty fascinating. But yeah, Roman is very difficult to deal with in how he does that. So as you said, maybe we give him the benefit of the doubt. That's how he shows it. But yeah, this was the first time I remember that. Oh yeah, Shiv has some decency. There's reasons we like her. And Jeremy Strong in this scene is just fantastic. He's just killing it in this whole monologue.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, I'm still not going to give the siblings that much grace because they did make fun of him as soon as he came back from the hospital. They were still making jokes, but at least Shiv finally found the human factor that Roman said that she did not have, that she could see, like she stopped the business talk and was like, let me check on Kendall, like what's happening. So Rasha, give us your thoughts about this.
Yeah, I'm going to say this was one of my favorite scenes. And I just want to, we've got comments coming in. So Eileen saying Roman was being Roman. That's the way he shows love to the extent that he can show love. So I guess she's kind of sympathetic towards him. Ella saying I was mad at Roman a little too, was yelling at my TV. So I was indifferent towards Roman, guys, because I feel like I didn't expect anything different from him. I knew he was going to be a jerk about this, and he doesn't really know how to express his love. Maybe because of, how he's been brought up. But I will tell you, this is one of my favorite scenes in this episode. Will, yeah, just to piggyback off what you were saying, I think Jeremy gave a beautiful performance, and you could really feel for him that trauma and that sadness of him, killing that kid and just really confessing to his siblings, and then the shock of his siblings not really even knowing to the extent that this was all occurring during Shiv's wedding. It was nice for me to see Shiv being a little sympathetic. I didn't know how far she was going to go with it because I almost thought she'd be coming back with some snarky comments at some point. But I felt
she
like
did.
And she did off and on, right? Because, well, they don't know how to express themselves. Yeah. But at least between the three of them, between the two of them, at least he had some empathy from Shiv, right? Whereas Roman just does not know how to communicate. I like the simplicity of that scene too, just the way it was shot. You know, how they the background that they picked and where they decided with the colors and everything. It was a beautiful scene.
But it's at this moment that the siblings actually decide that they want to band together, that they have to stop Logan at all costs. And I do want to ask you both, there's a pivotal scene in the car ride when Kendall's telling them that, like, hey, because their mom worked out this deal in the divorce settlement, which I love how the writers kind of threw us off because they brought up the divorce settlement and how she was trying to keep the flat that they had. So it was like they told us that clearly she had leverage and she needed to give Logan something in order to get what she actually wanted. But it went over my head. I don't know if you guys thought that this is going to be something that would happen, but there's this scene in which Shiv tells Roman, that Dad's never going to give you the company. Like, this is not a possibility for you. You can't be on the fence about this. You can't stay on Dad's side because he's not going to give this to you. What is your reaction to that, actually seeing that Logan actually was going to make sure that Roman was made whole with this entire deal? What were your thoughts about that?
I don't know if he would have gotten made whole. Madison
said that he would let Roman be the face for the family. He said that from jump, that they have a partnership, they have a friendship. He's okay with making Roman the face for the family.
That's because of the friendship, I think. I don't think he really looks at him like a smart business leader. I think deep down, Madison knows too that Logan, he's the one who knows how to run the show, that his kids are really not as capable as he is, and he's a smart guy. But the whole thing with the mom, and the divorce settlement, Sharronda, that threw me too. I did not see that coming because I, for some reason, just thought we were focusing on the wedding. That was as a separate entity. They were worried about the prenups with Peter. I didn't see this coming at all until we get into that closing scene with the kids and him. But I will say too, I thought it was kind of cool to see the three of them come together, have that conversation in the car for the first time where they're now, you're right. At the end of the day, they all look out for each other because Logan is not a good father. He's a snake at the end of the day, and they have to protect themselves too. But I didn't really anticipate that happening either, where I'd see the three of them kind of going up and banding against him. So I enjoyed watching what they were conversing about.
Well, how about you?
Yeah, seeing them finally for the first time, basically in 3 seasons, put aside their differences and put their minds together. Like, I thought it was such kind of a thrilling moment where you just see Kendall's beaten and he's silent, and there's I think Shiv's like, I mean, how could we possibly stop him? And then you just hear him speak up, like, there's a way. And then you can hear his energy coming back, and he tells them, and they're back and forth with Roman, convincing him that, I like the phrase, they're like, he's going to be like Lennon and put you in a basement like the Romanovs. You know, I thought that was a really funny way to describe, because, you know, like, I think Mattson would have kept Roman on for a transition, but I think he probably would have iced him out pretty quickly. And, like, you know, I don't think that Roman would have had a great shot at considerable power. So I understand what he did, but the whole back and forth of basically seducing Roman into this, so good. And then also, you know, when they all come together, and you hear about times in the past where when they were little, they threw Roman under the bus and let him get in trouble with their dad. But then, like, actually to see them all together, see Logan try to separate them again, like, you take Kendall out of the room, I'll talk to Shiv, and then she can fill you in. He gets power from them being separated, and, like, seeing, as Rasha, as you said, seeing, I guess, Roman get his balls and not let him be manipulated and let all of them be manipulated was so satisfying. You know, and I was so happy to see it. But not so much that I don't hate them all, to the point that I was pretty happy when they got fucked for doing it. But, you know, it was cool to see him try.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw in too, guys, really quick, that he's constantly left Shiv out too for this deal. So we've seen that hurt with her in a couple of the scenes in the last episode and in this one, where she's just kind of left out of everything. And Logan's like, oh no, Roman, you just come in and take care of it with me.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with Logan. I mean, when he told them, like, it's time for you to cash out and understand what it's like to work for your stuff yourself. It's time for you to get a lesson in what real life actually looks like. I was kind of okay with this because
I agree.
I mean, no, Sharronda, he's throwing this out of nowhere, though.
Like, yeah, but maybe it'll be good for him. It's like
they still are good. They have stock in the company. We saw that Kendall was gonna make $2 billion for literally selling his share of the stock. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like they're fucking.
He was ready to walk out. Remember that too. He said in the last episode that I'm ready to take that deal. And then Logan again flipped it on him and said, oh, I got to think about this.
Well, yeah, but they're still going to make money. Like, it's not like they're poor. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like they're hurting for any type of financial aid or anything like that. But I thought it was interesting because we've always hinted at the closeness that Logan had with his ex-wife, that they've had a pretty decent relationship given that they got divorced. And to see that she finally agreed, like, it's time. She was like, I don't think that you fighting for this company still, I don't think it's healthy for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't see this for you anymore. I don't think that is important. And so I was actually okay with the parental decision.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, they're right. I mean, those people are, you know, they're clowns, and it's not like they're going to have to start from the bottom up. You know, they'll still be highly wealthy. And if they get a good investor, they can make their own money. You know, it's not like they're literally getting pushed out of the nest. I think they do need it. You know, I was also happy because I'm glad that Tom and Greg seem like they're going to, you know, they were the underdogs. They sold their souls, but they're presumably going to benefit.
I love that line, by the way. I remember that when Tom asked Greg, "Do you want to make a deal with the devil?" And Greg's response was, "Yeah, what am I going to do with the soul anyway?" Like that conversation with the two of them. And I think it's going to be neat now to see how this is going to impact Shiv and Tom's relationship. It was funny how when she had to give the toast, did you see at the end how she commented on what a rich and beautiful and joyful marriage her and Tom have, and she wishes that for her mom. And you could just kind of see Tom looking at her, like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I want to see how that dynamics is going to work out now.
But let's delve a little bit deeper into that, because there's a conversation that Shiv does have. She calls Tom to fill him in, not because like that's my husband and I'm making this huge decision and I want to consult my husband about it. It was more like, hey, you're running ATN, so like we need you to help us run these stories as soon as we basically plan this coup against our father. But Tom asks her during that conversation, what does that mean for me? And she dismisses it like, I don't know. And once again, this is Shiv showing that like it's about her. She never actually considers her and Tom, like the decisions that she makes, how that would actually affect Tom. And so that's why I'm happy when we see that Shiv realizes that somebody has warned Logan that they are coming and what they are planning to do. And then we see him walk in like, hey, Shiv, are you okay? And I was like, oh my God. Tom finally grew a pair of balls and like stuck it to his wife. And that scene where we see that he touches her and she kind of jumps and she looks disgusted at even him touching and kissing her. She was literally disgusted. Like she knew, but she had already accepted that they lost. Will, like, tell me how you felt about Tom screwing Shiv over in the moment that they have at the end.
I loved it so much. I'm wondering if she has, I thought her facial expressions, Sarah Sook's facial expressions this episode were really good. I mean, the best was the moment where Roman's like, okay, I might have forgotten to mention that Mattson, considered buying the entire company. And literally just like her eyes go wide and like just like tears get in there, but also rage. And the shot of her at the end when Tom's like massaging her shoulders, like, oh my God, what happened? Like, does she know? And is there any world in which Tom can like make her think it was someone else somehow? Or will he even want to? But yeah, no, I thought this was so satisfying. Tom's not a great dude by any means, but I felt so consistently bad for him this season. I wanted him to get a divorce, and this was 1,000 times better. Because I thought, that whole I hope you have as rewarding and rich a marriage as I have. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was such a barb to Tom, just so you would know that. It was basically saying, like, fuck you, Mom. I'm mad at you. I hope you suffer like I've suffered with this guy. And so, yeah, I mean, seeing Tom finally get something better than a divorce was just a thing of beauty. I'm so happy he did that, honestly.
I think Shiv had to have known. Tom was the only one that she actually told in the car.
Yes.
To him to run the story. And I literally thought when he touched her, I thought she was going to ask for a divorce right then and there. I literally thought that's what she was going to say. But she deserves it because she have been trash. You guys know I don't like Shiv. And like,
she's been mean.
She's terrible.
She's horrible to him.
I love though how they closed that scene out with a close up on her. I thought that was a very powerful ending. And we've got people like Gina and Elle saying too that Shiv's, she got what she deserved and she needs to take Nikki too. So I guess our viewers agree with us too that, it's time for them to move on. Yeah, I was wondering if she, I was just wondering what was going on in her head when that last scene happened, when Tom is touching her. So, but I love how Tom and Greg have paired up. It's so funny because I feel like Greg is that little kid for Tom, right? Yes. He's always nurturing him. I'm even with the whole dating thing and this and that, and just always so coming back to him. Like he fully doesn't let Greg go, which is so interesting to me. He's like his little baby bird.
He really wants a son. He's made that clear. He wants a son, and Greg is effectively his son. So
yeah, I mean, I think that, I don't know, it's really interesting how all of these things played out for this season. I don't know what's going to happen with Shiv and Tom. I'm just happy that Tom actually stood up to her. But one thing that did piss me off was after all of this had transpired, Roman goes to Jerry, like, help me. And I'm just like, wait a minute, did we literally forget last episode how Shiv tried to blame Jerry for being sexually harassed by her brother. And like, you're literally going to Jerry after you've literally been torturing her, after you almost jeopardized her job last week, and you're really asking Jerry for help. And I like that she asked him, like, how does this serve me? Like, how does you getting control, how does that serve me? What about me? Because like, clearly Logan has been treating Jerry like crap the entire season. The siblings have just been giving her a headache. I mean, I really like when she just said, like, no, I'm not doing it.
And she stood by their side for everything. Like I mean, I'm sure she's got her own intention too. She's been with the company long enough, but she still does whatever she can to the best of her abilities to help Logan out. I didn't expect anything else from Roman. I mean, because at the end of the day, he needs to save himself, right? So he's going to go wherever he can. And again, it's that little, going back to mommy and crying in a way, you know, and forgetting what he's done. So I didn't expect anything better from him at that point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think the like Roman sexual harassment angle is going to be dropped in a broader sense either, because I think next season, presumably, they're going to try to do some kind of PR campaign to fight them. And you know, Kendall mentioned they're coming for me over the caterer he killed, so I'm sure that will be brought up. People are already digging into that, and I wouldn't be shocked, obviously, if another angle, if Roman tries to present himself as some kind of reformer, it would be incredibly easy for the company to be like, he's a predator, he's a pervert, and you know, that's blackmail on two of the three parties right there. So I think that is probably going to be a recurring issue there.
But also too for Logan, because Logan covered it up for Kendall, so he covered up a murder. So Logan is still, he will be held accountable, because to me, I got the feeling that Kendall wants to atone for his sins and he wants to tell someone. And I don't know if he's calling Vanity Fair to tell his story, to tell the truth and absolve himself of the sin, or if he's trying to get ahead of it. I mean, I think this ending really left open a lot of, like, there's a lot of subplots that they can play with for season 4. So I guess, you know, what are your theories of what we will focus on in the season 4 of Succession? Like, what do you want to see with the upcoming season?
Well, I feel like Kendall is soul searching, but I want to address this question, team. What do you guys think? CA's asking, what about Marcia? What was her purpose? Yeah, she had very little purpose in this episode. I got to say, I was kind of trying to figure that out myself too. I mean, I think it's just so that we don't forget her presence and her involvement. I think she's going to come back in season 4. And we're going to see her being involved for her own stake. But I didn't really get her presence there as much either. It didn't do much for me.
I mean, I don't like how they've handled Marcia's character the entire season. Like, they kind of had her come in where she like renegotiated her deal with Logan, like what control she would have, and making sure that she solidifies something for her children. But they kind of had that episode and then she disappeared again. So, I mean, personally, I don't like how they've handled her this season, because I really liked her interaction with the kids and kind of that rocky relationship that they had, and especially the rocky relationship that she has with Logan now. So I hope they do beef her character up for season 4, but I don't understand her purpose. I mean, I don't know what her purpose is, but to just have her there.
Well, obviously she and Uncle Ewan potentially could be, as people who do have a significant amount of stock in the company, they are potential allies, I would assume, for those 3 down the line. So it'll although somebody mentioned Giovanni Sanchez said Marcia always wanted to throw the kids out. Yeah. So then again, maybe,
I mean, the kids hate her and she hates them. So
yeah, so maybe she's not so great as an ally either. Yeah, I mean, presumably she got something nice out of this deal in general. But yeah,
we'll find out what she got. Like Sharronda was asking, so what do we think is going to be happening in season 4? A lot.
That president is going to be, I think that's going to be a big issue. It'll probably be, the whole season will probably take place during like a fictional election year with this new candidate they're running. You know, that ominous shot they had of him posing with all of them, and the fact that dude is kind of a avowed fascist. I think that's going to be a big issue next season of trying to elect. And I think it would be interesting is if what Greg gets in this deal is becoming head of ATN, and then he tries, that was like he hated that whole idea of like that he didn't want to work for them. That was like the one place he put his foot down with Tom. I think it'd be really fascinating as if part of his selling his soul, he becomes like their, I don't know, like Ben Shapiro basically, and like their young face of like the conservative thought that they're peddling there. I'll be interested to see politically if if the their like Bernie Sanders light guy comes back, who Shiv used to work for, if they're gonna go crawling back to him and try to like join his side since he hates Waystar Royko, and might in the Senate try to crack down on the acquisition for antitrust reasons. I think there's things like that. I think Kendall's, drowning the kid is definitely going to come out. I think Connor's still going to run for president. I don't know if he's going to ally himself with his other siblings or try and, it's not like his dad has any reason to try and take care of him. So he'll probably,
I don't know if he'll get married though. I feel like she just said yes to say yes for right now. That could be temporary too.
I mean, she was like,
I might as well do it.
Crying at the wedding, and I was like, "Are you crying because you don't want to marry Connor, or like do weddings really make you emotional?"
Oh, speaking of the weddings make you emotional, I love the scene so much where Greg is in between the countess on one side and then the assistant or the PR person he's been seeing, and like the countess is like, I love weddings so much. He's like, oh, same. And then literally the other girl next to him is like, God, this is I don't remember what she says, but he's like, yeah, I know, fucking like kill me right now. So funny. Like he is such a worm. I don't know why I
back
like
and
him,
forth. But I think he's smartening up each episode.
Yeah,
so that's
for sure.
that's why it's going to be interesting to see him in season 4, and I think he is going to even surprise us more. I think Tom's going to kind of create some more pathways from him, but he may even turn on Tom and try to take over in a different way too.
So sad.
I still have hope for their bromance. I mean, for me, for season 4, the only thing that I want is that for everything that happened this season to have purpose. And how I say that is we led up to the strong season 2 finale, and we really didn't get anything until this episode, like until the 9th episode of the season. And so I really hope that everything that they introduced, from the elections, what is the cell going to do, with the whole thing of Kendall telling the siblings what actually happened, I just really hope that for season 4 that they keep the intensity that they had for this finale, and they start off with a bang and actually have stuff happening, consequences for our characters, actually pushing their arcs further. I just really want them to, they know how to write a good show. Every show is written well. There's great dialogue. They know how to balance the drama and the comedy, but I just really need things to happen in season 4. Like every episode, something should be happening. They have established a lot of subplots in season 3 that they have enough material to make it interesting every single week for the viewers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Sharronda. The follow through would be nice, to see these different subplots be developed and even going into them even deeper. Because I think we've talked about this too, the three of us. Like, it just seems season 1 and 2 were stronger than season 3. And I know a couple of our viewers have commented that they thought it was great too, that season 3 was really good. But I know that amongst the three of us, we were talking about how there were moments that it just, I don't know, some of the shows were just like, okay. They have an excellent team, great cast, great production team, writing, everything, producing. But yeah, I'm hoping to see a little bit more where every episode kind of leaves you on the edge, wanting more.
Jack, we don't hate season 3. I want to make that clear. We don't. No. I still really enjoyed it. And I was, I think what we had said in some of the earlier episodes was that, it definitely felt very different in its pacing. It was really taking its time, and it seemed like they established a lot of subplots and then didn't really follow through on them. And I think a lot of that was probably due to COVID. I think probably the production had to make certain compromises, and hopefully they don't when they're doing season 4. I think it's more that season 2 was just such a banger, and it left with such a relentless propulsion and momentum that we're kind of hoping it would carry through on that now.
Powerful.
But I still really enjoyed this season. You know, it was a great season of TV, even if I didn't like it as much as the previous two.
Thanks for clarifying that, Will. Yes, I don't think between the three of us, we didn't hate season 3. We were just looking at how powerful the other 2 seasons were.
So, I mean, wrapping this up, what were your favorite moments, your favorite moment or favorite line of dialogue for this season finale for episode 9?
Well, I love Monopoly. So I love when Tom said, "Oh, I got another get out of jail card." That was, you know, there was a nice little pun there. I loved the line, like I was telling you, between Tom and Greg as well about selling the soul. I thought that was kind of nice. I think, Greg and Roman, their little interaction there too.
With the Countess?
Yes, with the Countess, and then Roman calling Greg a irrelevant pauper.
Yeah, and then he's just like, what do you call it in your language? A sexual pervert? I thought that was so funny.
And then I loved her reaction to this whole dynamic happening between the two of them, because she's like, you're very interesting. Like, your family's very, she didn't even know how to respond to them. But I think my favorite scenes, hands down, were number 1, the Kendall breakdown. I thought that was a great scene. And I think that ending scene when the kids walk up, they have a conversation with Logan. You see that entire interaction happening, Logan announcing his decision, walking out, Tom walking in, and that close on Shiv. Ooh, I love that.
And Bertel's music this episode, fantastic. I like how it started before the credits this time. You know, they're talking. It's like, let's go see what that fucking Swede wants to say or whatever. And you hear like the boom, ding, 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 and then it cuts to the credits. I thought that was really cool. Sets the pace for the momentum we're getting going in there.
I just like it made me think of Game of Thrones, like Tom coming in, like, it was me. Me, I did it. But also, too, Roman telling Tom that Shiv was going to make him carry the baby. And then you
just like poop out the baby.
Yeah, or Roman telling them that telling the assistant, like, you're gonna have babies and the baby's gonna be born old with a walker. And I was just like, why do you guys have this theory that your dad is eating walnuts to create more?
Oh my God. That was funny.
Man.
That was funny. Wait, I gotta address Jack here. I know Jack. Jack says that you wanting every episode to leave you on the edge seems like a tough bar. I know it does, but I will also tell you at the same time, I love this show. I love the characters. I love the actors. I love the different arcs that are presented. So I am excited for season 4. I really am.
I think my favorite line, in addition to some ones we already covered, was in the car where he's like, the thought of you makes me want to vomit, and I want to kill you both every day, but I think we might make a pretty good team. I was like, God, if that doesn't encapsulate the show, you know, like, and also I thought it was such a nice line. They talked about that whole, the reason earlier in the show that you never wanted the slaves to be identified in their outfits because they would realize how many of them there were. Having that pan out with the whole idea of like, we realize we're stronger in numbers, and having that actually be represented with them later in the episode, I thought that was such good writing.
And the fact that Logan purposely played the siblings against each other to give him time to, because he knew that there was this caveat that was a part of the divorce settlement, almost like he knew to play the siblings against each other until he can position himself to win, like he said he did at the end. At the end of the day, Logan always comes out on top. But I mean,
and the kids know that too, Sharronda. I think in one of the episodes, I think Roman had mentioned he's always 10 steps ahead or something. And he proves that over and over again. I mean, like, whether he's a snake or not, you know, he knows how to run the show.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm sad because we are at the end of our after show for Succession. Like, we're done. It's been 9 great weeks. I know I haven't been able to been there, but I just want to thank you two for holding down the fort every single week, making sure that you're providing recaps for Succession. I want to thank everyone out there who have watched every single after show. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much for the likes and the engagement every single week, sticking it out with us. It means so much to us. But our our after show is coming to an end until we have season 4 to talk about.
I know. God damn it. Yeah.
It was so
it's,
much fun. And I same thing, Sharronda. I want to give a shout out to all of our, even today, all the engagement that we've had and the people that have been here with us today. It's so nice. Thank you. We appreciate your love and your support and being a part of our after show.
And just make sure that you stay subscribed. You like this video, you share it with your friends. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We have some amazing after shows. We still have Hawkeye after shows as well. We have so much great content to offer you all. We're saying goodbye for Succession, but there's so much more that we talk about on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe and you hit the notification bell. But I hope that all of you have the most amazing night ever. If you can sleep after the shocking finale. But I hope that everyone has a great week, and I hope that everyone has a great holiday and a happy new year. And until season 4, we'll see you soon.